As for clothing, to come at once to the practical part of the question, perhaps we are led oftener by the love of novelty and a regard for the opinions of men in procuring it than by a true utility. To cover nakedness, man wears clothes, he says, and he may judge how much of any necessary or important work may be accomplished without adding to his wardrobe. No man ever slower in my estimation for having a patch in his clothing. It is an interesting question how far men would retain their relative rank if they were divested of their clothes. Could you, in such a case, tell surely of any company of civilized men which belong to the most respected class? Old shoes will serve a hero longer than they have served his valet, if a hero ever has a valet. Bare feet are older than shoes, and he can make them do. Only they who go to soirees in legislative halls must have new coats to change as often as the man changes in them. But if my jacket and trousers, my hat and shoes are fit to worship God in, they will do, will they not? Who could do with less? Who could do with less? I say beware of all enterprises that require new clothes, and not rather a new wearer of clothes. If there is not a new man, how can the new clothes be made to fit? If you have any enterprise before you, try it in your old clothes. All men want not something to do with, but something to do, or rather something to be. Perhaps we should never procure a new suit, however ragged or dirty the old, until we have so conducted, so enterprised, or sailed in some way, that we feel like new men in the old, and that to retain it would be like keeping new wine in old bottles. And the caterpillar is in its wormy coat, and the snake casts its slough by an internal industry and expansion, for clothes are but our outmost cuticle and mortal coil. Otherwise we shall be found sailing under false colors, and be inevitably cashiered at last by our own opinion, as well as that of mankind. It is desirable that a man be clad so simply that he lay his hands on himself in the dark, and that he live in all respects so compactly and preparedly that, if an enemy take the town, he can, like an old philosopher, walk out the gate empty-handed without anxiety. The head monkey at Paris puts on a traveler's cap, and all the monkeys in America do the same. I sometimes despair of getting anything quite simple and honest done in this world by the help of men. They would have to be passed through a powerful press first to squeeze their old notions out of them, so that they would not soon get upon their legs again, and then there would be someone in the company with a maggot in his head, hatched from an egg deposited there nobody knows when, for not even fire kills these things, and you would have lost your labor. Every generation laughs at old fashions, but follows religiously the new. It is only the serious eye peering from and the sincere life passed within it which restrain laughter and consecrate the costume of any people. The childish and savage taste of men and women for new patterns keeps how many shaking and squinting through kaleidoscopes that they may discover the particular figure which this generation requires today. The manufacturers have learned that this taste is merely whimsical.